Welcome to Goddess Behavior, the podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era. This is Goddess Behavior. All right.
All right, we made it to episode 2.
Episode 2. So today we have the battle of the best king of the gods, Zeus versus Odin.
Yep. So we're going to Greece and to Scandinavia this week
to talk about our two
kings of the gods.
King of the gods.
Yeah. Rulers of our pantheons. So would you like to start off with Zeus?
Yeah, let's start with Zeus. So Zeus is our King of Olympus. His story begins with fear. So his father, the Titan Kronos, had overthrown his own father, the primordial Uranus.
Back to the primordials.
Yeah. So go back to Nyx with this one. But before Uranus fell, he prophesied that Kronos would also be overthrown by one of his children. So Kronos did what insecure tyrants do. He tried to control fate. Each time his wife, the Titan goddess Freya, gave birth, Kronos swallowed the child whole.
Yeah.
So Hestia,
like they're giants, so you have to put it in perspective here. Like he can actually do that.
He really can swallow a whole human. So Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, 5 gods gone.
Down the hatch.
Yeah, prisoned inside their own father.
It is so wild. Anyway,
yeah. So when Rhea became pregnant again, she refused to let, to lose another child. She fled to the island of Crete and secretly gave birth to who we now know as Zeus. To trick Kronos, she wrapped a stone in swaddling clothes.
Okay, yeah. Which, baby stone, same thing.
Dead weight.
Pretty much. It's how I felt carrying Blaze this morning. So it's not wrong.
Secretly gave birth to him. Kronos swallowed it. Kronos swallowed the stone, believed that he had eliminated the threat.
Okay, yeah.
Meanwhile, Zeus stayed hidden in this cave on Crete and was raised in secret. When Zeus reached adulthood, he returned to his parents with a plan. So with the help of the Titaness Metis, Zeus tricked Kronos into drinking this potion that forced him to spit up, is what I'm going to say.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
The children.
Yeah.
And yes, he spit up the stone too.
Okay. Yeah.
So they all came out and fully alive and grown.
Yeah, sure.
And so united, the 6 siblings together started a war to overthrow the Titans.
Right.
So the war between the Olympians and the Titans is the Titanomy, and it lasted 10 years. This was a long drawn-out battle here. Yeah. Lots of things happening. But armed with thunderbolts, Zeus became the primary force of destruction. The Titans were defeated and then imprisoned in Tartarus.
Which is in the underworld.
Go back to Nyx here. So in the depths of the underworld.
Right.
But victory wasn't enough. So Zeus had to secure his rule. And so he and his brothers, and they divided up the cosmos. And so Zeus, he marries his sister Hera and takes the sky. Poseidon, we see him in the sea. And then Hades, of course, gets the underworld. But Zeus's authority extended over the gods and then also into the humans. He became king of Olympus, not just through his brute strength, but through alliances, strategic marriages, and fear is a piece of this. He faced additional threats like Typhoon and crushed them, further cementing his dominance. His reign marks the shift from primordial chaos to Titan rule and into the Olympian order.
Olympic power.
So the Greeks here were coming out of sort of their dark ages. And so Zeus sort of stepped in and gave them sort of the more stability.
Right. And
the
then
stability that they
created
needed.
the pantheon we know of, the 12 Olympians, and they rule over all these
the different
important
aspects
pieces that
of
the
their
Greeks,
Greek life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he is revered very highly because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about Odin.
CEO number 2.
Yes. Odin is the Allfather of Asgard. So he is essentially the parallel to Zeus in Norse mythology. If you compare them, Zeus is like the messy frat boy king of the gods, right? And Odin is a terrified, sleep-deprived strategist. He's going about it all like a totally different way. He is running a 9-realm intelligence operation.
Yeah.
So he's the god of wisdom, war, poetry, magic, and death. So we got a lot of things going on here. He's covering a lot of bases.
Busy guy. He's not delegating.
He's not, Thunder King. we have Thor in Norse
Mhm.
mythology. So he's not just the king, he's a seeker. Like he's seeking this foresight and knowledge in order to help prepare the Norse pantheon for Ragnarok.
The big event.
Yes. So before Odin was king of the gods, the world was ruled in chaos also. So
Yeah.
a lot of parallels between the two stories, truly. Yes, so it was also ruled by the primordial giant Ymir. Odin and his brothers, Vili and Ve, decided chaos needed restructuring. So they killed Ymir and used his body to build the world itself. His blood for the seas, his bones for the mountains, and his skull for the sky. They also shaped the first humans, Ask and Embla. It always trips me up, that one. Each of them contributes something to humanity. So Odin gives life to humanity. He breathes breath into humans.
Which is huge.
So, yeah, exactly. Then his brother Vili gives mind and understanding, so kind of a cerebral side of it. And then Ve is the sense and appearance, so kind of more your physical body. The brothers kind of disappear after that from early myth, and Odin kind of takes over as like the sole
The guy.
ruler of Asgard. But he doesn't stop at conquest. He wants knowledge because of what he knows in the prophecy of what's to come. So he wants knowledge that helps him outmaneuver fate, which, as we know, is just not possible. Fate is fate. So he's trying to do everything he can to move himself forward, but is it really to what end? At that point. So examples of how what he's willing to do. Yeah, right. The sacrifice that he's willing to do. He sacrifices an eye to the giant god of wisdom, Mimir. He also hangs himself from Yggdrasil, which is the world tree, for 9 days to unlock the magic of runes. So he's going like no water, no food, just vibes. Like he's going
for like 9
self-inflicted, mythological trauma. That's what he's going full on.
He wants all of the information.
He wants as much as he can get. And for those who don't know what Yggdrasil is, it's the world tree in Norse mythology. And it basically is this big tree that has all the 9 realms on all the branches and the roots and the base of the tree. And it includes 9 different realms, gods, humans, giants, and the dead, all living along the branches and roots. So it's a living thing in itself. It's not just a map.
It really is.
And creatures live on it. The wells of knowledge sit beneath the roots. Like everything is tied to this tree. And it also suffers in itself over time towards Ragnarok, where we're approaching that time. The tree itself is withering away. And Odin's also collecting dead warriors for Valhalla, which is where they go and celebrate. It's kind of like their heaven, essentially. When you're brought to Valhalla as like a decorated warrior, it's very honorable. Yes.
To them, it's like the highest honor.
Right. So he's like quietly preparing all of these things like for the big event. Battle at the end. Right. To try to stop the world from ending. And by the time the gods have built Asgard, which is the realm of the gods, he is the most formidable force in the 9 realms because he has gathered everything and sacrificed things about himself to get to that point, to stay ahead of destiny. So that's Odin.
Yeah. So I think here we have 2 that they come from similar places.
For sure.
And in their own realms are revered for, like Odin with
strength and war and like what was so important to the Norse people was just they were in constant battle conquering. Like that was their mindset, was like, how do we get as much as we can to make our society strong? Like that was what they viewed as strength, for sure. And the Greeks, it's a little bit of a different story. Like they valued in a leader, but maybe not themselves. It's a different.
They just wanted more stability.
Right.
Like they didn't want all of the fighting.
Exactly.
It was like, we're done with this.
They've had enough. And it's interesting to see how the leaders are different based off of that, because they want stability, but they choose this unruly leader. Like in a way, he's kind of a loose cannon.
But for them, he established. Like
he establishes
without the put the Titans away, essentially.
Right. Which was the chaos, right?
Which to them, for them, was chaos. The chaos.
And then you have Odin, who's less chaotic, maybe on the surface, but he also is chaotic in his own way of not really kind of manipulating the other gods to do his bidding to help the long-term game, but
Yeah.
it's not always necessarily, like, not chaotic in itself too.
Right. That's just they're just very different approaches.
Mhm.
Here, like if you were imagining these two as CEOs,
Right.
we've got
That's
one.
how we broke it down in our head.
Yeah.
I feel like that made the most sense of, like, how do we tie this to, like, a modern situation? Because gods are so big picture, and we're like, "Okay, bring it down to
But if
earth
you're
now.
talking to
Modern time. What do we"
if you're talking like a modern leader
Mhm.
to put these two, right? Is
Yeah.
we've got one with sort of this legacy empire sitting on high on Mount Olympus.
Yeah, and the other is, like, in a fortified compound in Asgard. Like, he's in a
Yeah.
war compound
Yeah.
ready for
Ready,
stuff
preparing
to
his
hit the
best
fan.
for and so they both are ruling strongly in their own worlds
Right.
and have built their companies through, I mean, maybe questionable means, but
Sure.
hostile
Yeah,
means,
for sure.
essentially,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, because they're
defeating their own parents.
well, they're built when it's like we were saying, they're defeating these primordial gods, so
Yeah.
they are going for it,
Yep.
where if you don't do it that way, you just wouldn't
It would
you
never
wouldn't
happen.
succeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
So these
it
big power moves were actually very necessary,
yeah.
as questionable as they may
Yeah,
seem to
right.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no HR in this.
No.
HR would have been out.
HR nightmare.
Yes, I mean, yeah, we'll get in I mean, we can
Yeah.
get into that for sure. Zeus is yeah, he's a lot.
Yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
Odin's a lot too,
he
just different.
I think that's the whole point, is that they, like, while they start from very similar places and each
Mhm.
have their own thing, like, struggles.
Well, it's like a personality thing, right? Like, you
Yeah.
have one that's definitely more, alpha, I would
Mhm.
say, if you have to put it in that way, and then maybe one that's more beta in the sense of more reserved in the way that he's
Yeah.
ruling.
It's one acts a lot out of, like, is just more compulsive and doesn't necessarily think before he jumps to act in rage. Where we see Odin, who really is being strategic and is gathering knowledge to then act. It isn't sort of the impulse that is lacking with
Right.
Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, like, Zeus is ruling like it's permanent.
Oh
Our
yeah.
throne is permanent. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Where
he feels
Odin's
he's there
like,
forever.
everything's about to burn down. I have to make it so that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, so he's
What can I do?
absolute
How do I do it?
like
Yeah,
damage control
totally.
is what he's trying to
Yeah.
do. He's not
Yeah.
even he's not even trying to
It's
actually
the
rule necessarily all the
one
time.
is governing for order and the
Right.
other is governing for outcome. Like,
Right.
what is going to happen here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's do a little comparison. So
Oh,
leadership, the way that they lead is obviously very different. I mean, Zeus is trying to control everything
thing.
all at once.
I mean, he delegates, so there's
He
that.
does. He does.
And I mean, truly, I think he uses these violent, everything with him is violent,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that the Greeks are like, yes.
And yeah, he's the stable one. Like, it
He's so
confuses
strong, and
me.
look what he did for us.
Yeah.
And they still revere him for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting to me.
Yeah, and with Odin, it's like he also delegates, but it's almost like in a way where he's not really telling everybody all the information.
No, it's like he
So
plants the idea.
yeah, he plants the idea, and then people go off and do what he
His set
wants.
idea. Yeah.
So it's almost, and it sounds like in a negative way, but he's puppeting people. Like, he's doing it in a way where people are doing it on their own volition, not
Yes.
because he's
It's
telling
not a
them to
literal
do it.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making it happen without actually having to do it all himself.
Right.
I mean, when you have Ragnarok looming, it's hard not to,
Yeah.
And as we were saying, the way they're governing, it's just Zeus is just throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks in a lot of ways, I feel like.
Yeah, truly.
And yeah, Odin's more focused on the long game than maybe what's happening right in front of him. He lets other people handle
The
today.
short
Yeah,
term,
the day to
the
day.
day-to-day stuff. Mhm.
Yeah, and then I mean, how they treat their employees. Let's talk about that.
Mm.
It's interesting. I mean, I think I kind of said a little bit about Odin before, of how he's delegating, but he's letting people do it on their own time,
Like, their own volition. Yeah,
and self, like, or making them self-motivated people, not necessarily telling them this is
do
what you
this
have to
or
do.
else.
Yeah,
It's just different. I mean, Zeus is just, like we said, he is the nightmare for HR on so many fronts.
such
So,
a
like,
problem.
I mean, we see him revered for lots of things, but his treatment of women and his,
Yeah.
like, multitude of I mean, baby mamas.
He's got a lot of baby mamas.
He goes
A
to
lot of
Earth and
a lot of animal transformation
he
turned
is
seducing a
honestly
nymph or some human
right.
or
And he's like the great seducer and has all of these, half mortal children
yep,
and
demigods.
for any company that's bad.
It's not
That's
good.
not a
Yeah.
good look.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the boss is sleeping with all the employees. It's
Yeah,
just not gonna
it's
go.
problematic.
It's a
It's
problem. Yeah.
asking for trouble.
And then you have Odin on the other end of it where he's like going to Freya and saying, "I need your magic that you
Like
have. Teach me your knowledge."
yeah,
'Cause that is what he
and that's what
values.
he wants.
But
Yeah.
he also is like, "I don't care that you're a woman. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's not
Whatever
the point.
you have what I want. It doesn't matter that who
Yep.
you are. It has nothing to do with it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then fate.
So Zeus really, I think we'll see this with both, but Zeus sort of also fears being overthrown. He
Oh, for
fears
sure.
sort of that prophecy of maybe one of his children coming to
Right.
overthrow him.
Mate, right.
And so he still is ruling a lot out of fear too.
Mhm.
Um he
Yeah, I mean, Odin knows he's gonna die in Ragnarok, so he's
yeah,
accepted his fate. He's just trying to do everything in his power to
yeah.
keep it from happening
He's
as
trying to
much.
go down swinging.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. He's like, I will do like he's governing that, knowing that he's gonna fail. So
which
that's
is
why he's
interesting.
trying to move all the chess pieces, i.e., the other gods or anything that he can
Yeah,
manipulate to make the outcome different than what he originally has
yeah.
or what he
What
sees
is
in the
fated,
prophecy. Yeah, yeah,
if you will.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing is like he's working towards a goal that we don't even like. Is it worth it? Like you question that
Yeah.
sometimes. And Zeus is also like, is all this drama worth it?
Right.
There's just it's two different
It's
things.
one knows their outcome and embraces it in the sense of let's prepare
Right.
everything, trying to put things in order. Zeus fears a certain outcome and then sort of misbehaves anyway.
Right.
It's just
Right. Like
like,
he's doing what he wants no matter what. And if
yeah,
if something comes out of it that he has to like again go to HR and have them cover it up, like that's
God, his HR team would be,
so it's a lot of
they
work.
would have to be literal sharks. So,
And to defend him on a day
yeah.
to like how do you defend somebody who acts that way? I think it's really, really, really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that PR person, I don't want to be that PR
I
person.
don't. Mm-mm.
um, I think something that's important is how the Greeks and the Norse look at, like we were talking
Look
about
at the
before a
world.
little bit,
Yeah. Like sort of
because
what that's like for them.
yeah, it definitely reflects in who they choose as their leader.
Totally.
So,
As
uh,
with anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Norse is a warrior culture. Like that's what they value. They lived in such a harsh environment, and they have so much honor in being a warrior that's
Yeah.
what they value.
It's like
So
their ultimate.
an inevitable sacrifice
Yeah.
is such a big part of what they saw as honorable in their society. So them picking a ruler who's more, I would say,
Quiet and strategic.
and strategic
It makes
is
sense.
it's the same as a general.
Yeah.
That's what a general does,
It
not
is.
necessarily a king.
Oh,
Um,
that's true.
so if we're comparing kings, right? It doesn't make him a worse king necessarily, but
Yeah.
it just depends on what you're valuing. The Greeks would be
But the
something
Greeks, yeah,
different.
the
Yeah.
Greeks are, sort of these city-state politics. They value law. It's a big, like, full
Right.
authority, setup.
Mhm.
And they value that institutional order. They're not placing that same honor and value on war.
Right.
They want out of it.
Mhm.
And so they're like, oh, great, these other guys are doing it. We can watch, but
Yeah.
we don't want to participate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Let the gods duke it out for us.
right.
I don't want to.
Right. They
I
leave it
like,
up like at a higher level
yeah.
and,
And they're like happy to have it that way.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think what we've come to the conclusion is that neither of them are perfect by any means.
I mean,
So
one's more of a peacetime leader, one's a wartime leader.
right.
One
And
is
one's, rules with his force and power,
yeah,
and then the other is more, has a purpose in mind.
yeah, and is working towards that.
Yeah.
So
So I think they're both flawed patriarchs, to
yeah,
be honest. I think we came down to the conclusion that
maybe they're better individuals
better
or
better
goddesses, if you
goddesses,
will,
maybe.
for
Yeah.
the job. Like
So
maybe the
maybe
women in their worlds.
so we kind of went down that rabbit hole. All right, shall we get into our picks for our goddesses that we would rather have in
Yeah.
charge?
So in each pantheon, we have
A different
we have
option.
a different option, about the best option, obviously.
Of course.
Let's be real here. All right. So Athena.
Yeah.
I think she's the obvious choice for
sure.
the job.
I think so.
So if Olympus were our boardroom, right? Athena is busy drafting the 5-year plan, keeping the company intact, and Zeus is rage flipping tables. So
He's Teresa Giudice from the Housewives.
yeah, just angry about everything.
Yeah.
So Athena is the Greek goddess of wisdom. She's wisdom, strategy, civic order. She governs through intelligence.
Right.
Truly.
She's the strategist here.
Yeah, she really, and for the Greeks, she really is that Odin. Like,
Yeah, in that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
she really values those things. So her origin story is a really strange one,
Mhm.
but we're just gonna, here we go. So
It's one of
Athena-
my favorites, personally.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's great. It's just,
It's very like
it's odd.
it's similar kind of to Zeus's origin story in the sense it's like what is
in
going
the
on
world?
here?
Yeah. So it's interesting how the Greeks explain their
Yeah.
world here and how these
Yeah.
people come to be. So Athena is a daughter of Zeus, but she isn't born in a usual way, right? And according to myth, Zeus swallowed her mother, so the Titaness Metis,
Again, not sure how that works, but okay.
because he heard a prophecy that Metis would bear a child that was more powerful than him.
Okay.
So we're seeing sort of a cycle here. This
Yes.
is repeating itself yet again.
Yeah.
Later, Zeus developed an unbearable headache. I mean, just like is wailing in pain.
Yeah.
And so we have
Man cold.
obviously.
Yeah. So much more painful for them than it is for us, as we all know.
So we had to call in help. And so Hephaestus,
Yes.
he calls on the god Hephaestus to split open his skull.
Oh, okay.
He
Sure.
literally splits his skull open
It's
with
some
an
medieval
axe.
medicine.
Yeah. And Athena sprang out of his head,
Sure.
fully grown and armored, and like
Okay. That's a visual
it's
for
a
sure.
weird
Yeah.
picture, yeah. And so then, of course, coming from his brain, his head, she becomes the goddess of wisdom who emerges from the
Of the gods.
of the gods.
Well, and the whole prophecy part of it, like it ties so well into why she would be the better option.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really cool.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, well, he can't seem to think any of his actions all the way through. I mean,
yeah.
Athena just got it all.
Yeah, maybe that's
Took
it.
it all,
That makes
right?
sense.
Yeah. So we see her really preferring to negotiate and discuss things, tactics over brute force. She really doesn't dominate with fear
Right.
like her father does. She influences with intellect. So in times of war, she isn't there like just fighting, she's strategizing.
Right.
We see her
Again, like Odin, like in the
Yeah.
way that she thinks. So she's not just
and the way she
going
applies it.
right.
So
right.
to take it a step further, we see her sort of mentoring heroes like Odysseus and sort of valuing like the cunning strategy moving forward in war
Right.
is like just exploding on
Right.
everybody. Athena's power is influence based and not dominance based. She thrives in the system rather than trying to tear the system apart. And I think that piece is really important.
Yeah, especially with the stability that the Greeks value. You
Truly.
have to have a system in place and somebody who follows it. And Zeus hardly follows it.
He doesn't,
does his
he
own
himself
thing.
doesn't follow it.
Right.
Right.
So a leader who follows it would like hypothetically be the better choice because they're
Definitely.
already feeling like, yep, this is what I would do or how I would do it. So that's
Yeah.
where we're going.
Well, and that's what we see too is so the city Athens is
Mhm.
named for Athena.
Right.
And they worship her. They really do. And,
Yeah.
and they literally put her on this pedestal
Mhm.
and she becomes a really big, important figure for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I decided that Freya was the better option. So if Asgard was a company, Odin would be like this founder CEO who built the organization through strategy, secrecy, and long-term planning. Brilliant, yes. Effective in crisis, yes. But his leadership style is like very top down and he's so secretive about everything. And it's so focused on this apocalyptic ending.
Right.
So he's not focusing on what's it right in front of him, which as a person of Norse origin, of course that's important, but what about what's happening right now?
In the
Like there's
moment.
nothing right.
Right.
So Freya would run Asgard like a modern CEO who actually understands the people, the culture, and the long-term stability that
Yeah.
they do want.
Like the day things.
Right.
Right.
So she's commands both war and life. So has two different things that she has going on. her
And that's because the North so valued war
right.
that she
So she
does
still
rule
has
over that
that,
too.
right?
Yeah.
She has
It's a big piece of
like
her
her
too.
domain covers love, fertility, beauty, magic, and wealth, but it also covers war. So
Yeah.
it encompasses like she's a warrior goddess. So it encompasses more than just one thing, which is part of why she is a better leader because she can encompass like she has all these
She, like
ideas.
women,
Yes,
so often
she
are.
can
She's very multifaceted.
she
She's
can
good
have
at
more
lots of
than
these
one
things.
box open at a
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
where we can see that it can be
That
more
others might struggle with
segmented.
that.
Yes.
Not to name names.
Exactly. Like with a sphere that, represents what life is like what's worth protecting.
Yeah.
Like she's worried about protecting what they already have versus what's going to happen that's inevitable.
Yeah.
Um
She's more able to live in the now.
right.
In that moment.
And where Odin would be training like a end of the world army, for that matter, Freya would be running it as like a top talent pipeline. So like, how do we get the best people in the best place to do the best job? So instead of just stockpiling all the best warriors into one place to make it all okay, it's more like a longer term strategy. So again, building that stability like Zeus does. So it's interesting how we kind of have like how we were saying that what they value in a woman's position. The women that we picked actually are mirroring the opposite god.
Yeah, no,
which
they
is
are
interesting.
actually.
And
Which I'm seeing more now as we're talking about it.
right, like and like Freya wants to build a strong team of people. So similar to like an Olympians, where you have a strong set of people who are organizing everything instead of it being
like
me having to do it all and sacrificing everything about my own
an individual. It's a team goal versus an individual. Yeah.
Exactly, which I think is more effective. And she's often reduced to like this love goddess, and she's not. Like
no, that's so not her.
There's so many
she's
things
so
that
strong.
and she also receives half of the slain warriors. So as I was talking about before with Odin,
it's a piece of her domain too.
He picks out the warriors that he wants, and they go to Valhalla.
Yeah,
and they're honored by him. Where she takes the other half into Folkvangur, and that's like her. It's her half of the people. So it's just different. I'm not
like warriors for her to use too. I mean,
right,
just because that's part of her domain as well.
Right, exactly. And this means that she already shares that important responsibility with Odin as it is. So there's a lot of responsibility that she crosses over with Odin.
Yeah.
And she also is like death and rebirth because she's fertility. So you have that parallel also of what she's covering all of these different bases that Odin's only covering one side of.
Yeah. He's so hyper fixated on the one thing that he can't like manage the others.
So she also has like this master system in place. If you think of her as like in the CEO position, she has the most powerful magic there is called Satyr, which is tied to prophecy and fate. So that's what Odin came to her to get when he was in his quest for knowledge.
Right.
So she already has it. Like
she already knew.
She's the master of it. That's one of her domains again. That he considers that like the most powerful thing in knowledge is this control over fate. And she's already there. That would be perfect for a CEO who could forecast. It's
helpful.
You're having the same things that he's doing, but you're also encompassing these other realms that don't need.
Because of course.
Yeah. Again, we can do it all.
Yeah. I mean,
and same with Athena, how you said with Athena that she's more of an influencer than a fear monger. So it's the same with Freya. She wants to command respect. She's not trying to force people to bend to her will, which Odin doesn't necessarily do either.
It's interesting.
Again,
he's
a little bit
manipulative.
He
means well by it,
right?
I would say.
That's how he finds it to be the most effective.
I mean, to me, the two women are more of like your head of state figures.
Correct.
And then we have, Zeus and Odin, who are really more in my brain, like generals. They're really more of like,
it's two different
things. The
things.
revolutionary generals. They're not the heads of state that they're so revered for being.
And so also in Norse mythology, you have two different sets of gods, which is part of the thing that, again, it all keeps coming back to that she's this bridge between so many different pieces that the Aesir gods, which is the ones that live in Asgard. So they are the main gods that focus on war, power, and social order, and all of these like big important like big ideas. Freya is a part of the Vanir gods, which is the other set, which encompasses nature, prosperity, fertility. So maybe more day-to-day things.
Like, human aspects of
right.
life. Yeah.
And so they go to war because obviously they have opposite, ideas. But she creates this like political bridge between the two. Her literal job is that she's bridging the two worlds of the gods themselves. So how do you see her as the better, like she can set foot in any spot
and be
productive. Right. And understand what's happening. She can unite multiple divisions of the company without having to just command one at a time.
Yeah.
Like if you compare her to a Zeus, like that's where she differs from Zeus. Yeah. Zeus wants to just be in everybody's business
and bully his way in.
Right.
Yeah.
Where Freya is interested and can, if she wants, she's like easily movable, but she doesn't, like, she knows about marketing, but she's not the expert in marketing.
Yeah.
So she can go in there and talk with the marketing person, but she's not necessarily the expert.
Yeah.
And then she can also do the same in legal, That's like how my brain is explaining it to myself.
I like it.
So yeah, I mean, to me, she's just the best leader that wouldn't just prepare for the end of the world, but also would help the world survive leading up to it, and maybe even lead it to survive after it. We don't know because she wasn't the one in charge. Yeah, so that's kind of where I came to it with her. Now we kind of want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, so if you had to live under one divine regime, Olympus or Asgard, which throne would you kneel to? Which one do you think?
Which one fits your ideals? We'd love to see what your comments say. Next week on Goddess Behavior.
They're called monsters, feared, hunted, lamed, and remembered only for their worst moments.
But what if the myth got it wrong? What if monster was just another word for powerful, different, and inconvenient?
We're asking the uncomfortable question, were these figures truly monstrous or deeply misunderstood?
From exile and transformation to rage with a reason, we're re-examining so-called villains of mythology and who benefits from labeling them monsters.
Monsters don't usually tell their own stories.
Next episode, we let them speak.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.